Hi everyone, I am Teja Rani. Now I am going to explain about the future of human-computer interactions with the immersive technologies tracking. These are the table of content. It's having introduction, tracking of HCL, role of tracking immersive technologies, real-world example of tracking technologies, perspective challenges of tracking, and the future of tracking in human-computer interactions. When it comes to introduction, in the introduction, we should provide brief overview about human-computer interaction HCL and explain why it's critical field in modern technology. HCL is concentrated with the high people interactive with the computers and other technological systems, focusing on creating the user-friendly and efficient interfaces as the immersive technologies like virtual reality, VR, and the augmented reality, AR, and becoming more advanced tracking technologies are playing crucial role in making the interactions and more settled nature. In this slide, we are mentioned how to tracking about transform and human interacts with digital environment, helping to create to the immense expressions and tracking in HCL. It's having in this session we defined about the tracking in the process of monitoring with deactivating various human actions such as body movements, eye movements, and gestures. Tracking is a fundamental to create the immersive and interactive environment. There are several types of tracking used in HCL. Mentioned tracking it's like detect the movement often used by VR systems to track user head and hand movements. Gesture tracking recognize specific hand and body gestures that user performs in the real time. Eye tracking the movement where the user eyes are looking often used in advertising and gaming to create more interactive experiences. Location tracking monitors a user physical positions in the space using AR to place the virtual real-time settings. These type of tracking contribute to creating more responsive and engaging environments in virtual and augmented spaces as they allow the technology as to understand and react to the user's actions. And the fifth one is the role of tracking in immersive technologies. In this session, you will discuss about how to tracking enhance the immersive technologies like VR and AR. These technologies really heavily tracking to the creative realistic interactions. In VR, the head and hand tracking are used to make a user like moves their head and virtual world adjust accordingly, giving the impression or immersion. AR uses tracking to blend virtual elements with the real world. Systems like Microsoft HoloLens track to the user location and the movements of the place, holograms and the digital objects in real environment, allowing user to interact with both physical and digital worlds seamlessly. By adding the visuals, short video images of the people by using VR or AR, you can help to identify the audience grabs how to track and make the experiences feel more interactive and immersive. The sixth one is real world example of tracking technologies. Here we can provide about tangible and a real world example of how to track the technologies are being implemented today. These are the examples help our audience to connect the theoretical concepts with the practical applications like Rift VR tracks to the hand movements to virtual objects and the physical movements. Apple Face ID facial recognition technologies track to the user face securely unlock an iPhone. This is the form of tracking that doesn't require any physical contact. Microsoft HoloLens. This AR headset uses the tracking to the map of interactive with virtual contact just by moving around the adjusting their perspective. By providing these examples, you should track the part of everyday life you will continue to play an essential role as a technology involves. And the next one is perspectives of challenges of tracking. In this slide, were explaining about opportunities, challenges, tracking present prospects like enhanced user experiences by tracking the technologies to make interactions with virtual and augmented environment feels more natural and intuitive and engaging. Personalized interactions with tracking and system can adapt to the user's unique behavior. For instance, in VR and game can be the user movement patterns and adjust the difficulty of level based on the physical environment. And new applications tracking open up to the possibilities of new applications in the fields like education, like learning, healthcare, monitoring the patient moments of, or mental health via VR, the entertainment like interactive gaming and challenges. Privacy concern. Tracking system often gather the sensitive data such as eye movement, gestures, and the facial recognition. With rise of issues about the data and security, technical limitations where there are like multiple limitations processing which limits the tracking and accessibility. Many tracking systems which expensive and hardware complex in setups, making them like inaccessible for the limitations. Mm, the next one is future of the tracking in human computer interactions. The future of HCL holds two exciting possibilities and opportunities. Innovations like tracking as a technology progresses, we may see the neutral tracking monitoring brain activity, full body motion, and like impressive responsive interactions. AI integration. Artificial intelligence could make tracking systems smarter and predictive user interaction behavior to the tracking and adapting the environment accordingly. Potential applications. The future could hold to VR and immensely to track the data. Final thought. End of this, by concluding the future of the application, you should highlight the transformative potential and tracking technologies making audience how and more expected in coming years. When it comes to the conclusion, we can conclude by wrapping up by the key points of your presentation by like how to track the central and making the environment more realistic and responsive. Tracking helps to bridge the gap between the virtual world and the real world by in neutral interaction. Future outlook summarize how to tracking involves and the future of the HCL by emphasize the need of the thoughtful development to address the privacy and accessibility concerns. And then final thought should be like end of the thought providing the questions such as tracking technologies are advanced, how we can ensure they are enhanced the user experience without compromising the privacy. The conclusion should leave the audience to reflect on the future of the tracking, mm, of the interactions of HCL, and these are the some of the references. Have any questions? Thank you.